You probably clicked this video because you read that absurd title. And of course, if you're a true fan of the sport of Formula 1, you'll probably understand that I was being sarcastic. Because no, this year will not just be another boring year of Formula 1, and I'll tell you why. So if you watched the Bahrain Grand Prix, you probably noticed that Max Verstappen and Red Bull are cheating. I'm just kidding. Or am I? But seriously, no, they are miles ahead of everyone else. If you remember anything about the 2022 F1 season, which you probably should considering it was only a few months ago, Max Verstappen did the same thing he did in Bahrain. He utterly dominated the season. Yes, at the start it did look like there was going to be a title fight, but none of that matters since we all know how that ended. Max's domination absolutely annihilated something pretty big from the 2022 F1 season, and that of course is the title fight. And from the look of how freaking quick that Red Bull was in Bahrain, there's exactly a 97.3862% chance that that'll be the case this year as well. That's a made up statistic, although I'd imagine the real chance is much higher, somewhere in the 150 to 200% range. But does that render a whole season as boring? Yes, no, maybe, a little bit. Okay, so it does obviously take away the appeal of a title fight. And like I already said, that's kind of a big deal. In 2021, we saw Hamilton and Verstappen go toe-to-toe throughout the whole season, and it was insane. And also countless other amazing years in F1 had the same thing in common. They all had a battle for the World Championship. So there's no disagreeing that a title fight adds a lot to a season. But sometimes I can't help but get the feeling that some people forget that there are another 18 freaking cars on track that aren't Red Bulls. Yes, you heard me right. I know it might be a bit controversial, but yeah, maybe the title fight isn't the only thing to watch out for. Right now, as it stands, of course the top two steps of the podium are reserved for Max Verstappen and the Mexican Minister of Defense. But in terms of third place, right now it looks like there are 3 teams with cars good enough to compete for it. Mercedes, Ferrari, and of course the new bad boys in town, Aston Martin, baby. That means that we have 6 different drivers in contention for a podium at all times. And that's without considering any problems that may or may not arise at Red Bull. So if you call a 6-way battle for P3 all the way to P9 in the standings, and a 3-way battle for P2 in the constructors standings boring, then whatever, you do you. I've lost all hope for you anyway. But if you can turn your head just a little bit and see 18 other cars battling out on track in what seems to be a tighter grid than last year, you might just realize that things aren't as bad as some people make it out to be. Now yes, I think it goes without saying that I would have loved to see that Red Bull closer to the Merc, Aston and Ferrari in terms of performance. But from preseason testing, it became apparent that that was beyond wishful thinking. But like in every era of Formula 1, at least one team will eventually rise to the challenge of facing the dominant team. In this case, that's Red Bull. So obviously, as we do on this channel, we'll hold hands and pray that that'll happen sooner rather than later. But in the meantime, let's sit back and enjoy the 2023 season with the battle for second in the Constructors' Championship and third in the Drivers. The new regulations seem to have done an amazing job at letting drivers race closer together without interference. Just look at the battles Alonso, Hamilton, Russell and Stroll had in Bahrain. Exhilarating stuff. So what I'm trying to say is, sometimes you gotta take what you can get. Make the best out of a bad situation. Yeah, sure, maybe there is no fight for first place, but there's always another battle out on track, and that's the beauty of this sport. You find a driver you like, you become a fan, and you eventually find yourself rooting for them and their team every race weekend, no matter what happens. RIP Ferrari fans. But anyway, that's about all I had to say. Do you agree? Do you not? Help me out with the algorithm by commenting down below. And if you want to support this channel and make it grow like... Actually, I'm not gonna make that joke. Then please do like the video and potentially even subscribe. Not too long ago, we hit 1,000 subscribers, which I never actually acknowledged, so thank you all. But recently, the YouTube algorithm decided that it doesn't really like me. So a like and subscription will of course go a long way with that. But really guys, thank you all so much for watching, and on that note, I hope you all have a blessed night and I'll catch you all next time.